Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football. Today we've got a wee weekend video for you as we'll try to treat you every weekend. Today we're going to be going over the January transfer window. Yes, it's been closed for about a week or so now, but we're going to go through and we're going to rate every team. Well, not rate every team. We're going to speak about every team in the Scottish Premiership. Joined with David.
It was a really good transfer window. This
it was interesting.
Deadline day especially was really good.
I didn't expect so much stuff to be done in the January window this year, but here we are. We've got a lot done, and we've got 12 teams to speak about. And briefly at the end as well,
we'll touch on the Championship because there's some interesting stuff down there too. So we'll start off at Pittodrie,
where a lot of business was done.
Aberdeen needed a big window, and they made a few good deals. But
I think for me, Aberdeen on paper had a very good. For me, I just say very good window. I honestly do believe because Dylan McGeoch, terrific signing, and Matty Kennedy.
The two early ones were Kennedy and McGeoch. It was on the cards that Kennedy was going to go in the summer on a pre-contract, and then Aberdeen stumped up the cash. Wouldn't have been much to get him here. Matty Kennedy's a really good, talented young player, and it's a good signing on paper. The issue that he's going to have, I think, at Aberdeen is style of play. He's a really technical player.
That is, we kind of touched on that.
If the ball's flying over his head, it's no use to him.
We touched on that on Thursday's podcast, talking about how I believe Matty Kennedy would be a better fit at the Hearts team. But if you do think of Derek McInnes trying to get a team playing well, if he does, then Kennedy will be a talent for them. And they started the window strong with these two signs for me. Now, I know that maybe the style won't suit him at the current minute. It doesn't look as though Aberdeen are playing terrifically good football. But if we're talking in terms of transfers, it couldn't have been, that is what they were asking for. They were asking for someone who come in with a little bit of flair in Kennedy, and they needed a centre midfielder. They have done what they needed to do for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Kennedy was a good signing, but I think, Dylan McGeoch, when he signed for Aberdeen, I thought, wow, what a signing. Great signing. I mean, someone who's proven up here, had his injury issues, but on his day at Hibs, when he was partnered with McGinn in that midfield, there was times where he was just as good, and he's got so much potential. He can kind of do it all in midfield. He's got a goal in him, but he's a good defender, good tackler.
Celtic man, former Hibs, Scottish
Cup
winner.
Yeah, I think over the course of the end of the season, he'll be a very good signing as well. So the early business for Aberdeen was certainly very good, and then
maybe on the outside of things even better because I got rid of James Wilson.
Yeah, someone who really struggled. Three players that left. Wilson, who on paper looked like a good signing at the time, has kind of struggled for goals, which has been Aberdeen's problem all season. The boy Gleeson, who talented technical footballer, but kind of struggled with the pace up here a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the boy Viner that had on loan from Bristol City started okay, but kind of petered off. So in terms of the outgoings, there'll be no one who left that
won't impact them too greatly.
At the end of on deadline day, though, I think it was deadline day, maybe the day before, they brought in that Ronald Hernandez.
Yep.
Venezuelan international.
Don't know anything about him.
Very highly rated, but apparently they paid $750,000 for him. Quite a lot of money.
That's quite a bit for Aberdeen.
Decent window. A really good age too. He's only 22. So in terms of potential, he's got potential to be a really good acquisition for Aberdeen.
And on to the champions Celtic, who needed what looked on paper going into the window a big group of players to come in. Not big in the terms, not a full squad, but you see Neil Lennon say at the start of the window he wanted 4 or 5 players. They just came off the back of losing to the Rangers, but only 2 signings were made after the talk of so many. There was so many rumours, so much flying about. We had Jordan Rhodes at a point. We had
that was the deadline day. It was like Jordan Rhodes is going to sign for Celtic.
Deadline day was a disappointment, but Kamara and Sorrell.
I think it would have been a bigger disappointment if Jordan Rhodes had actually signed.
No, I wouldn't have wanted them. So I think we won there. I wouldn't have wanted them. Kamara and Sorrell, though, joining for about a combined fee of around £5 million. 2 players who, once again, Celtic fans will not know a great deal about, but hopefully we'll get to know a great deal about.
The issue with this is Celtic have spent £5 million in this window and not improved their first 11. Yep. Now, in fairness, they've had a really good run since the winter break, so maybe they're going to be. Peter Lawwell will be vindicated in his lack of business this window, especially if he has a big summer. If he has a big summer and they end up winning the league this year, he'll be vindicated in this decision. However, I think it's typical with the way Celtic fans have been recently, is that after every Old Firm game that Rangers win, a lot of Celtic fans lose their mind and think the team's going to fall to bits. Mm-hmm. a lot of players in the Celtic team that are already there have come back into form. Like Callum McGregor since the winter break looks a different player. He's
post window we have shown that maybe we didn't need as many signings as what we originally thought. So, and I think we can be kind of be relieved.
The one area that they really should have strengthened was a centre half.
That is the big miss out. Celtic losing out on the chance to maybe try and go in for Benkovic, get him back in. But even at that, just any centre half done. Bristol. It's mental. Like, it's Celtic, a club 100 times the size of Bristol City, a club who could win trophies or who are playing in the Europa League for God's sake, and we never managed to bring them in. We never managed to bring in any centre half. And on the other side of the outs in the transfer window, Scott Sinclair leaving the club after great service to Celtic.
I think I was a bit disappointed to see Sinclair leave.
It's saddening.
I think I said at the start of the season it was clear as day Lennon didn't fancy him.
Nah, wasn't a Lennon player.
The thing is with Sinclair though, he'd be so frustrating in that he wouldn't do an awful lot. But he'd scored 20 goals a season still. If you played him.
Absolutely.
Big game player too.
Lewis Morgan heading out to Inter Miami, just didn't work out for him at Celtic. He's gone from the club. And then on the loans, I suppose the positive.
Jack Hendry leave as well.
Yep, he left on a loan deal. So on the loans, this is the kind of positive I think of the window for Celtic. And what was mostly a disappointing transfer window, you've got Abu Kouassi, Jack Hendry, Lee O'Connor, and Jonathan Afolabi all heading out on loan.
I think Kouassi's still got a future at Celtic. I think there's still a player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The positive is the fact. Take out Jack Hendry because I think he's the worst player I've ever seen play a Celtic shirt. I just had to pop that in. Kouassi, O'Connor and Afolabi, 3 players who I think need to play at a level of football that will prepare them to come into Celtic.
By the way, really quickly, how raging will Scott Sinclair be that Morgan went to Miami
and he
went to Melbourne and he went to Preston.
What a fantastic summer move. It's January, but he'll be loving the summers down there. I think that the positive is seeing those 3 go out and get football, especially Kouassi, because he's a player who's showed glimpses of potential, but he's just not been able to make the cut. And
it's just tough because Celtic midfield's been so strong for such a long time too. So, they've still got this. They've got midfielders sitting on the bench, the quality of Rogic and Christie, of course.
It's going to be
difficult for Kouassi to get in. Quickly on Afolabi, he's come to Dunfermline and he's played 1 game so far, and I'm really impressed.
So that's always a positive. Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
An absolute brute of a boy. Just physical, holds the ball up well, and hopefully he'll do the business for us.
Keep feeding me, son.
Fantastic. So
Celtic's window overall disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing.
Hamilton,
not quite as disappointing as the seed on Twitter would suggest, though.
Yeah, but I think I was guilty of being part of that. I think you couldn't have read how good the games went afterwards.
It's a testament to Rangers, what Stephen Gerrard's doing at Rangers in a way, because the fact that Rangers are even in a title, challenge now is putting pressure on Celtic's board and stuff.
Hamilton.
Yeah, a really good window for Hamilton, if for the fact that they brought in Dale Templeton at loan. The boy Southwood, who they had on loan originally, and then was recalled at Reading because Reading's had a new manager and who wanted to have a look at him. So they got him back. They'll be happy with that. But David Templeton's a massive signing.
Yeah, big signing for them. I guess the big talking point was losing Darian McKinnon. He decided to take a step down to the Championship to go to Partick.
Kind of been an ever-present for Hamilton for years.
Yeah, that's the thing. But for me, I said at the time, I think that is a decent move for him, because how much longer can you do? How much can you do at Hamilton? The situation they've been in for years. It's the same story, season upon season. He's got a chance now to go down to work with Ian McCall, a promising Partick Thistle side, and try and recover what has been a dismal couple of years for Partick now. He got a chance to be something bigger there. So I think that was the main talking point. Was it a smart move for Hamilton to let him go?
The thing is, though, Hamilton had lots going out the way, and not as much coming in the way. But I think Brian Rice will be hoping it's quality over quantity, and definitely with Templeton you're going to get quality.
I know, that's a big save.
A goal last night against St Mirren. So, and last time he was at Hamilton, he scored goals that helped keep them up, and I think he might do the same again this year.
I think he's going to keep them up.
I think if they are going to stay up, he'll be a massive factor in doing that.
It's the story of Hamilton's window every January. It's they need.
Can they make that one addition that's going to keep them up?
And that's what they've done for the last. They've done that for 3-4 years now.
Absolutely.
So that was big for them. Hearts, who they went into this window with Stendo showing the authority.
Well, the Hearts January started with Christoph Berra. See you later.
Yep.
And
Greg Whelan, Stephen McLean.
The way they dealt with the Christoph Berra thing was probably the right decision to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
However, the way they dealt with it was horrendous.
Yep, a man who obviously offers so much to Hearts in terms of experience and leadership.
He's the
captain of the
years,
club, and a guy who's been an international and been a player of the highest level for Scotland.
Yeah.
He really went in here with no fear at all.
And fair play to him, because I think he absolutely needed to overhaul the squad, and he's done that. You think of the players that they let go. So Whelan pretty useless for them.
Yep.
After when he came in, I thought he'd be a decent signing for them, but he's done absolutely nothing. Mulroney, not good enough.
Yep.
Stephen McLean, no longer good enough. Berra, not good enough. He's let them all go.
And he's made some decent signings.
And the signings he's got, and he's brought in his player. Boyce is the standout. I mean, if they are going to stay up this year, that'll be down to him.
I think if you put the outs, cutting that deadwood, cutting the ageing players, and think of Liam Boyce alone, that for them is a very successful window.
Yeah,
I would say.
I mean, he's another. If he could single-handedly keep them up with those goals.
Yep.
We've seen it even in the games they've struggled and drawing just 3-3 with Hamilton, getting beat 3-2 with Kelly. They're scoring goals, which they weren't doing. So he's done that, and also he's brought in guys like the boy Langer and Civic, Civic especially is a boy who's played under Stendhal before, knows what he's all about. So that will help in putting his ideas across the team. So I think for Hearts, a decent window. The fans might have wanted a little bit more, but I think Stendhal will be relatively happy with what he's done.
When you think about the limitations of a January window, usually it's
and you've got to add to the fact that Naismith's back fit, so Suter, so
it's a W for Hearts, I would say here.
Yeah, probably
a big win. Hibs on the other side of Edinburgh.
I think Hibs won the transfer window for
You think they won it?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I think Omiyonga is a massive thing for them, especially knowing what he's done before. Massive getting him in. McNulty again, know what he's done before, and I think Rangers won on the Canberra deal. Because Canberra's not done much for Hibs this season. Yep. Greg Docherty will do well for Hibs.
I think Canberra's main purpose at Hibs was to create, not score this year. And yes,
didn't do much of that either.
At points it looked good. It looked like he was a good creator. But in general, they can get better, and maybe Greg Docherty is the better.
Greg Docherty
option.
has not had a chance at Rangers, really. I think a lot of Rangers fans still really fancy Greg Docherty to be a player there long term.
But will it be the same kind of Glenn Middleton sort of story?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think if you look at Hibs' midfield now, they're so strong in that area now. Their midfield is going to match most in the league, and I think this will really help. This window will really help them have a positive end of the season. Getting Paul McGinn in as well, another really solid defender. Who, if you had to one criticism of Jack Ross's time so far, you'd say that the defence hasn't been quite up to scratch. So they've addressed that area as well. A really good window for Hibs, and even leaving away Ollie Shaw, who talented young player, but for Hibs' point of view, getting a fee for him, considering he's not really broken through the way people would have thought, so they've got a fee for him, so they could be happy with the way they've done their business. I think they've had a really good window.
Kilmarnock, we've got not much going on.
I think the story with Kelly is Kurt Broadfoot.
Yep. I mean,
wow, what is going on there? By the way, he left in the summer because he said he was slagging everything about the club. He slagged Alessio something rotten. And now he's like, back. I want to come back. What? I think a lot of people thought that move was like, why have they done it? And then you found out later on deadline day that Alex Bruce had left, which is a big loss for Kelly. But
yeah, I mean, it was apart from that scenario itself. Obviously Kabamba has came in and he's been put in the team.
Yeah. That's giving Brophy the kick up the backside he's needed.
Yep, exactly. So I mean, maybe in that sense of the word, a success, but I mean, not much happening. I suppose on the side of outs, Dunfermline fans can be happy because Dom Thomas
we got Dom
fantastic.
Thomas, who looks great, but we also lost. They also recalled Greg Kelty, who was great. So getting Kelty back in will be good for them, but it's not really affected us because Thomas has come in and done very well. So an okay window for Kelly.
Livingston, they managed to get Dolly Menga back. Did you see he had to redo his initiation?
Yeah, that was good. I thought it was bizarre though. I was deadline day. I was stuck on Twitter, just in the hope that Kevin Nesbitt wasn't going anywhere. And it came up that Livingston did a big announcement about this signing, and like I've never seen a club do a massive reveal for recalling a lone player. It was bizarre.
Well, he was loved by the Livingston fans last season.
He was a good character to have in the league.
But overall, apart from that, some decent business because they had to do something in the terms of goalkeeping.
Yeah.
And they brought in Robbie McCrory, who is very highly rated by Rangers fans.
Yeah,
they want to see him get a chance in the team in the future.
He was at Queens and did really well. Yep. He started very well at Livy, so. Yeah, a good bit of business, especially losing Sarkic, who's done really well for them.
That was a big one. Sarkic obviously came in to fill the boots of Liam Kelly, who left, and then Sarkic gets torn away from them after filling in those boots. So they had to do it twice in the one season, and they've done it well. And I mean, apart from that, you have got. I mean, the bits of business.
Getting rid of. I mean, Ross Stewart got out on loan, who's obviously a keeper at Livy, who they didn't quite fancy first team football yet. So. He's gone the other way to Queen of the South, and he'll get some game time. Scott Tiffany as well has gone to Ayr on loan, who it's another good deal for both parties there. So a
I
decent
think
window
it's
for
a
Livy.
good window for Livy. Motherwell, quiet, but James Scott, the big story, £1.5 million.
It's a great window for Motherwell.
That is massive. What an amount of money.
3 goals in 22 games, £1.5 million.
I know.
What?
And then
I know he's young, but
the big one on deadline day, Rolando Aaron's gone to Motherwell. You never thought you'd see something like that.
yeah, I remember when he came in originally at Newcastle. He was the next big thing.
Yep, everybody was talking about him. He had all the potential in the world. He was the next winger to take the League of Light. He was going to be at Man United in a few years' time. Not quite going that way.
He had his debut last night against Celtic and looked promising.
Looked really good, and I mean, they've got the money there from James Scott. You can only imagine there's something going towards a loan from that money. It was that was pretty much the two biggest bits of business for Motherwell. But in terms of, you could see really, really successful because of the money alone that they brought in for James Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And the boy in Jolie as well, that came in from Bournemouth, they had to get another striker, so they've got 2 forward players in. Motherwell have had a great season. We've talked about it. So they've added Aarons and Jolie, and David Turnbull still to come back. So a good January as well, and plenty of money in the bank. And it's a testament to how well Motherwell as a club are run.
That's how they run. You know, they develop these players and then bang.
Rangers.
Well, a lot in the outs anyway.
Yeah,
I had to wait a while for the ins.
There's one out I want to start with that I think is baffling.
Eros Kresna.
I tell you a story about Eros Kresna. Me and a bunch of mates once went go-karting, and it was like 8 of us and like 2 other people in this go-kart race. And then I was looking at this guy and I was like, I recognise him. And we got out after in the wee break, and I looked at the bit, it's Eros Kresna. I was like, I knew it was him. Amazing at go-karting, by the way. Absolutely tanned all of us.
Maybe better go-karting.
He won every race. He was magic. But the one out that I want to talk about, Jamie Murphy. I cannot for the life of me understand why they've let Jamie Murphy go.
Really?
Yeah, he's already scoring goals for Barton straight away. So
he wasn't really hitting the heights at Rangers, was he?
No, he's been injured, but he started well at Rangers. And look at the wingers that they've got there. Ojo, they don't fancy. Barker, they don't fancy. Jones, who has been injured, but he's not exactly going to score you loads of goals. Yeah. Greg Stewart, who does score goals, but they don't fancy. I can't get my head from them.
See, right, when you make all those points, I think to myself, right, you've got a valid argument there, and you do have a valid argument. I'm not taking that away for you. I just think that they can probably get better than Jamie Murphy.
But I don't think they've currently got it though. Brandon Barker's not a better player than Jamie Murphy. Shea Ojo's not a better player than Jamie Murphy. I don't think Greg Stewart's a better player than Jamie Murphy.
But you're forgetting Shea Ojo played for Liverpool.
Aye, but that doesn't make him a good player.
So that's the mentality, isn't it? He's going to come up. It's going to happen.
Rangers fans are as critical of Ojo as anyone. They're probably more critical.
They're definitely.
So the Murphy one to me is bizarre. Incomings. We spoke a little bit about on Hadji on Thursday's podcast.
Yep.
He looks like a good
looks
addition.
potential. For me, Canberra, stupid move.
I don't know. I disagree.
No, I think it's a terrible move.
Well, no, but it's not.
Not in the part of Rangers, on the part of him. I just feel like he's going to go.
Yeah.
He's going to go here. He's going to, for the most part, sit on the bench.
He's not going to get in that team. He's not good enough.
He's going to sit on the bench for 6 months. He's not going to be welcomed back to the city.
That's part of why it's a great deal for Rangers, because I said it on a podcast a couple of weeks ago when Defoe got injured. They needed to bring someone in who was a better option than playing a midfielder up front if Morelos was out, but also not going to be someone who would be raging at being third choice when Defoe comes back.
I think for Rangers, it's a really
it's a smart deal. Yeah.
For Canberra, no.
Because also for Rangers, the tail end of that, they're getting Docherty's out getting game time, so it's a good deal for Rangers in that sense for me.
Ross County. Henderson came back to Celtic.
Yeah, that
was a big one for them, losing a player of his quality.
Was he playing much up there?
I think he was in there week in week out.
So why did Celtic recall him?
There's not been really anything behind that. I don't know if they want to give him a chance in the team again, but obviously the midfield's a bit crowded. So
I think County have had a good window. The two that have got, the 3 that came in. Shaw, we spoke about how for Hibs maybe it was the right time to let go, but also for County they've got someone who's a young player who still has potential, and if they can nurture that properly, I mean the facilities up at County are fantastic.
Was there anything said on the fee for Ollie Shaw?
No, I've not heard anything. I don't think it'd have been a massive amount.
You couldn't imagine Ross County paying any more than 100, 200 grand.
They've also brought in Donaldson from Inverness, who's been really good for Inverness, and Jordan Tillson, who 2 players who went straight into the starting lineup. So for Kettlewell and Ferguson, see, I managed to remember both their names there. You didn't know. Professional right here. They'll be delighted with this window. They're bringing in players who will improve their first team squad, and Brian Graham on the way out, who good player, but it wasn't quite working. So a good window for County.
You can't let anything go, can you?
No, absolutely not.
St Johnstone, who their window was
pretty poor. Like
Pretty poor.
But they've managed to mask that with some really good form.
Exactly. That's the thing. Tommy Wright knows how to get them playing when he needs them too. Jamie McCart, yes, decent signing, but I think on the outside of things, losing Matty Kennedy, losing Veeman as well.
The thing is with McCart though, the back line has been St Johnstone's worst.
I've always called it, it's Vyman, isn't it? It is Vyman. Is that his name?
I don't know.
Because I've always called him Veeman, but I'm sure it's Vyman.
Vyman just reminds me of the guy that played for Villa. Remember him?
Oh, aye.
So
Vyman, the striker.
I don't really know. I doubt we're going to hear of him in Scottish football again, so who really cares? Yeah, they've brought in a defender, which is an area they need to address. McCart's been very good for Inverness. Matt Butcher on loan from Bournemouth as well looks a decent signing. Of course, boy Jones from Middlesbrough, who's an attacking player and they need goals. So Johnson's window has been okay, and the fact that they turned their form around means that,
Yep, in terms of their form, I'd give them an A+. You've passed there, but on the transfer, I think it's a negative window for them.
Maybe just. I don't think it's enough.
I think it's dipping into that side.
Yeah.
And then finally, we end off the league. St Mirren, Cup Profit we spoke about, but on the ends, Conor McCarthy. What a signing for St Mirren!
You love Conor McCarthy.
I love Conor McCarthy. He's going to be some player, I'm telling you. Lee Hodgson coming in as well. Is a name you remember?
Yeah, I mean he's been at St Mirren before, done okay. The boy Jakubiak, who came in from Watford, I think was at Falkirk and didn't. I don't think was he. I think he was at Falkirk. I might be making that up. And then the last signing was not too shabby at all. You don't see his name? Are you just giving me silence because the joke's
I'm giving you
bad?
Silence because the joke was that bad.
Yes. So they brought in a striker as well. Hopefully the boy Shabby, who came in from a team in Turkey, can score some goals. I was listening to Sports Sound on deadline day. They did a really good live show, and they got phone calls, all the managers. They got Jim Goodwin on the phone, and you could just tell how raging he was with Kurt Broadfoot, who basically decided on the day that he was leaving, and that was it. So Kurt Broadfoot was getting slated by first. It was a horrible day to be Kurt Broadfoot because all the St Mirren fans were slagging him, but also the Kelly fans didn't want him back.
Is it meant on me saying that I'm still taking aback to that joke?
Shabby, not too shabby. It writes itself that. But no, a good win over St Mirren. They've boosted the squad in their bid for survival. I fancy St Mirren to stay up.
Aye, same. So they are.
That's mental though. Actually, I'm saying this though. I fancy Hamilton, St Mirren, and Hearts to stay up. Who the hell's going to go down? I think I fancy them all to stay up. Someone's got to go down. Hamilton's going down. Yeah, brave man to tip
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I'm saying Hamilton.
But no, a decent win.
I'm telling you, big things for Conor McCarthy. Keep watching. I'm going to get a Conor McCarthy banner for the background of these videos. Hey, and very quickly, David, take it away to the Championship. I'll let you go and talk about Dunfermline and such before
the
we
absolute
get to the end.
massive deal of the window was Dunfermline keeping Kevin Nisbet.
Yep.
I mean,
and then we can't overshadow Dundee United. Shanklin, can we?
Two of the biggest deals in the window were Shanklin and Nisbet staying put for both their respective clubs. There were bids from Hibs for Nisbet. Thankfully, the Dunfermline board held out.
Good on them.
For what he's worth, because it's easy when Premiership clubs come to just fold, especially for a club like Dunfermline, who it's no secret need a bit of money. We're not financially in the best position.
Yep.
So I think every Dunfermline fan is under the impression that Kevin Nisbet will leave in the summer. But as I said to people at the game last Saturday, I said if Nisbet stays and scores 10 goals between now and the end of the season, he will go to a team down south for stupid money. If Lawrence Shanklin has been touted for £2.5-3 million, why is it unrealistic that Dunfermline should be looking for £1 million for Kevin Nisbet?
You're spot on.
And like Dunfermline board, who I think are holding out for that, and rightly so. He's still got a year in his contract, and I've said to you, for Dunfermline, our plan at the start of the season was to bring in players and sell them on for a profit. We made no secret of that. Kevin Nisbet has been sublime. Even the weekend he was dropped, he had a wee niggle at the weekend. He came on for the last 15 minutes and just the class is just amazing.
I love that word, niggle.
Yeah, a wee niggle. Yeah,
it's a lovely word.
A wee knock. So no, for us we're absolutely delighted. Also Dunfermline, who the start of our January window was looking pretty disastrous in that we lost Andy Ryan, Greg Kelty, Harry Cochrane, Anthony McDonald, Josh Coley, and at the start we had nobody coming in, and we were a bit like, oh my god, this has been a disaster. Crawford's done the business, brought in Ethan
Dom
Ross
Thomas
from Aberdeen. Dom Thomas has been great. They brought in a boy on loan, Dylan Duncan from QPR as a loan player, who it's a really interesting deal because it was kind of out of nowhere, and he was playing, I think he was the 23s captain for QPR. And he was told by Stevie Crawford, listen, you can come up, we're not guaranteeing you football, and this boy's come up and backed his ability to break into the team, so that's an exciting move.
And then Afolabi as well.
And also Owen Fawn Williams, the goalie. I've said for ages that Dunfermline need to bring in a goalie, and I'm delighted Crawford's gone and done it, so a good window for Dunfermline. For Dundee United, the fact that Kate Shanklin was magic.
Well, that's it. The Scottish January transfer window summed up. I mean, who are your three winners? Who are your three losers? David, go.
So, well, are we gonna go clubs or deals? So we'll pick, I think we'll both pick a club which we think won, and then the three best deals. So my club that won the transfer window were Hibernian.
Hibernian won the transfer window for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the club that won the transfer window for me, as I sit and scroll and I stroke my beard, trying to think. I've got
try to find someone other than Hibs.
Because Hibs did have a good window. For me, the club that won the transfer window,
I mean, it's done fair.
the other side of Edinburgh, Hearts.
You think Hearts won the transfer
Hearts
window?
won the transfer window.
I mean, they definitely had an eventful transfer window.
They
So.
cut the deadwood, and it takes a good set of cojones to do that.
Oh, well, fair enough. Right, top 3 deals of the window.
Top 3 deals of the window. Well, are we including the ones of staying at clubs?
Yeah, I'm going to.
No, you're going to. Right, okay. My top 3 deals of the window are this. Not in order. I'm just going to throw the 3. I'll order it in the graphic. Conor McCarthy to St Mirren because it is proved to be a terrific signing. And obviously I've ranted and raved and all the rest of it, so I'm going to have to include him in mine. The second one I'm going to go for is James Scott leaving Motherwell because the money they have banked there is absolutely unbelievable. And then third and finally, Liam Boyce to Hearts.
Yeah, right. So my deals of the window in order are Liam Boyce to Hearts number 1 because I think he'll keep them up.
Okay.
Number 2, James Scott. Motherwell getting 1.5 million quid.
If you
wow.
dare pick Conor McCarthy.
Number 3 is Dunfermline keeping Kevin Nisbet because of course it is. Big Kev staying put.
I'll let you have that one. Right, well, that's it. That's the transfer window summed up. If you have enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit like and subscribe and let us know who you believe won the transfer window in the comment section below because your opinion matters just as much as ours. David, thank you very much for joining me as usual.
Yeah, been a pleasure. And we'll see you all on Tuesday evening for another podcast.
Yes, make sure to be there. See you all next time.